Imagine you walk into IKEA, you buy a chair, you take it home, and you sit on it for 2 years. Then one random Tuesday morning, an IKEA employee breaks into your house, cuts the legs off your chair, and they decide they're no longer supporting your chair. You need to upgrade to the chair 2.0. That sounds insane, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's actually a crime. But in 2026, this is exactly what happens to your favorite video game, your movies, your creative software, Adobe, all these things. You don't actually own the chair. You're just renting it like the rest of us. You're renting to sit almost. We're back with episode 2. And today we're choosing violence, I think. It's gonna be a heated topic, I think. We're very passionate about a lot of things in this episode, but we're mainly gonna be talking about why Gen Z has suddenly become obsessed with wired headphones and why piracy is basically morally justified.
Yeah.
Hey, totally justified. And why right to repair is the new punk rock, the new word of the show. You're listening to Totally Justified. I'm Theo.
And I'm Josh.
And yeah, Josh, what are we saying so far? We talked about in the last episode about RAM.
Yeah.
This one is it's passionate to you.
I think it was, I mentioned it a bit before, but it was just the annoyance at how much it's increased by, like, tripled. Well, at least mine, the one I wanted, has tripled in value. So yeah, I regret not getting it earlier. But yeah, and I know for some people as well, they'll mention like theirs quadrupled, whatever.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not looking good for the RAM market.
Yeah, it's insane.
For the common guy like me.
I've seen that myself, actually. The RAM prices are just astronomical, if to say the least. Astronomical. And well, like we mentioned last time, it was due to AI and its use in media centers, things like that. So yeah, it's pretty intense. We'll sort of vibe shift a little bit, and we'll talk about a resurgence that I've been noticing online, in person. I myself, like I said in the last episode, I do this myself as well. I've just recently purchased wired headphones.
Yeah, I saw that. I was a bit confused because no one would have imagined you would be to the type to use a wired.
I'll be honest, neither was I. Because for the longest time, I've always used Bluetooth. I've always been a pioneer of it. As soon as I could get cheap Bluetooth headphones, I was there.
The wish days.
Do you remember those? The cheap £5
Bluetooth device
is connected successfully. Goodness, I remember those days. So yeah, I was always a pioneer for that. It almost seemed like I had a spare Bluetooth headphone,
and
always, just in case, one for the gym, one for home. But as of late, I'll tell you my reason for getting one. And I got one in 2021. I got my PC and I realized that Bluetooth audio when playing games is always out of sync.
Yeah.
You need to get a really good Bluetooth headphone that has the right, number one, Bluetooth number. Yeah. It can't just be 5. It has to be like 5.2. Essentially, in order to get the high fidelity audio. And now you have to then look at this side when you're actually buying stuff. And if you don't have that, now you've got a delay in your games or whatever you're doing. It's not the best. So I moved to the wired headphones, and I now use I forgot the word they call them. Essentially they're just pure audio. No bass, no enhancements, because sometimes Bluetooth,
they like to add
those
post-processing.
Exactly. Like some will sound a bit more bassier, some have more audio, but this just pure noise. There's no bass adjustments, nothing. It's just pure sound, which is really good. And a lot of high professional studios use these type of things. It's just audio. So yeah, I've been using that for a long time. But yeah, like I said, I've just seen a resurgence. A lot more people are using it online. You go on, it's a trend almost. Fashion statement.
I think about it, like especially like streamers. I'm seeing a lot more streamers returning to wired stuff, wired earphones, wired mouses, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
And I'll be honest, look, I don't have to charge it.
yeah, it's true.
I've had it since 2021. It's 2026 now. Not a hiccup. The only thing I can probably even think about if I was to is to just pull it really hard and break it.
True.
But I have to do that myself, you know. Whereas the Bluetooth headphone, I've been through so many in the past couple of years. And the thing about me, guys, is that I like to use one headphone. I always do. My headphone is always, the Bluetooth headphone is always in the right ear. Yeah. All the time. Josh knows this. But that causes a problem because now that is wearing out over time. And then eventually when you now trying to connect both, one of them is weaker than the other, if you've probably noticed, because it's trying to drive all the information through one. So, yeah, that's what I've been noticing. People have sort of gone back to 2008 with the iPod commercial. For that, wired headphones, they're back. But do you know what else is back? Funny enough, vinyls.
Yes, I have been seeing that actually. A lot of people have messaged me actually about getting their own vinyl collections, different albums. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, I would have never thought vinyls. Like, why do you think then vinyls of all things? We talk about headphones. We talk about the benefits of them. We'll touch a bit more about, you know, the sort of technical side of it, why headphones are getting more popular, and the difference between headphones, Bluetooth and wired, what the difference is between them. But I want to stick onto the vinyl side. Why? Because look, I'll be honest, I feel like with Spotify, I skip maybe songs every 30 seconds. But with a vinyl, you're literally forced to one whole album. That is it. Do you think technology has actually destroyed our attention span over the years for arts?
Okay, well, I'd say it's probably a bit of both. I think it kind of depends on what kind of art. So I think if we're looking at music, for example, personally, I don't think it has. I'd say, I think if you look at it, there's two aspects to look at it. If you're looking at it from the perspective that it has, I guess technology just makes it more accessible, more easy, more convenient to do things like skipping, for example, right? Take a vinyl. Trying to skip a song in a vinyl is very difficult. Or it's just not very difficult, but it's just tedious. You know, you need to know, one, what songs are on the track, what place they are on the track, and then you have to manually move it to that place. So obviously that's a fairly long process. Most people don't want to do that. But yeah, with Spotify, it's just a button. You press it, you can skip to the next one. So in a way, yeah, it does it has ruined your attention span in a way, because with the vinyl, you almost have to accept it. You just kind of have to listen to it regardless anyway.
Yeah.
Or most people would. But with Spotify, you can skip it. But then on the flip side, you could say that, well, since you're able to skip it, now you're able to put the songs that you actually do want to listen to.
See that?
So in a way, instead of only having an album's worth of songs, now you can get 2, 3, 4 albums worth of songs that you're listening to. I'll say it's a mixed bag. It can improve your attention span in a way because you're listening to more of what you like, but at the same time, because of the convenience that tech just has, you're more likely to just waste time.
Waste time.
Yeah.
I think I'll be honest. When I look at like vinyls, really, you're getting the albums you actually want to listen to.
Yeah.
Although I think with Spotify, you know, we sort of pick the certain songs from those albums that we enjoy.
Yeah.
And an aspect to reason why vinyl is making that resurgence, I feel, is holding something tangible.
Yeah.
Aesthetic reasons as well, because like cool. Having a vinyl really cool, looks really cool. Like the whole taking out the sleeve, the whole process is just so, there's something different about it. It's very satisfying. And we don't really have vinyl ourselves, but we've experienced it with other people and how they've shown us how vinyls work. Like the whole experience, it's an experience at the end of the day. Whereas now it's just, I have you heard this song?
No.
Go on Spotify.
Yeah,
Boom,
on
I'll
Spotify.
send it to you. Yeah, listen to this. And yeah, it's quite interesting.
Mm.
I think one thing I saw online was this. I don't know what it is. Bit rates. I don't know if
Ooh.
can you share some light on what bit rate is and
Yeah.
how that affects Bluetooth, all that
Mm.
stuff.
So essentially, with bitrate, it's basically you're just trying to move how much data can you move from point A to point B. So when something says that it has high resolution audio, for example, all it means is that it's just moving a lot of data from wherever it's stored to your ears, for example. And when you look at that method that connects, point A to point B, that method of transportation can affect how the data is being sent.
Okay.
So, for example, let's imagine the song that we want to listen to. It's like a watermelon, right? If we were to use a physical wire, that would be like using a fire hose, for example. So a watermelon can probably fit through a fire hose quite easy because that's made, to handle a huge volume of water. But when we look at a Bluetooth device, for example, that would be more like a garden hose. So it's a lot smaller, a lot thinner. And to get a watermelon through that is not possible. But we still need that watermelon at the other end. So that's where compression comes in, which just basically chops up that watermelon into smaller chunks that can actually now fit through that garden hose to get to the other side. And then it's all put back together. But then the issue of that is, again, imagine you're chopping up this watermelon. If you think about it physically, you're going to lose some stuff, juice, I don't know, maybe a bit will go flying somewhere. So the end watermelon that you have probably isn't the 100% of the watermelon you started with. So you lose some data, and that's what's called loss or lossy audio, where you lose some data with the compression that's actually happened. So that's where wired and Bluetooth differ. Wired is able to get the whole thing kind of unchanged, unfiltered. With a Bluetooth audio, it has to compress it to send some of the watermelon through at a time, and then you lose some.
You lose some of that. Interesting. Okay, so bitrate really does affect how you actually hear the full audio. But look, we actually discovered this on Spotify. There's an option now. I've turned it up. Because why not? And lossless. There's a feature that says lossless. Does that have any difference, or is there any difference you felt when you've actually turned that feature on compared to regular?
I mean, well, I set my downloaded to lossless.
Okay.
So I think it's I don't know. I don't really notice it as much. I don't know if maybe it's because, again, I mainly use Bluetooth.
Maybe that's why.
So that could be it. But I guess in terms of maybe the crispness, it probably is a bit better because, I use like one earphone. So like some songs, you need two to really get the full experience. I've noticed that when I'm just using one and it's lossless, there is a slight increase in how much I can actually hear just with one earphone. So I'd say like that's about the only difference I've noticed. But I know it's supposed to be like really good, but I don't know. I just haven't really seen it.
To be fair, we're not really like audio buffs. I know someone probably listening to this could probably tell us more about this, but I've turned it up. It seems good. Again, I use Bluetooth, and as you mentioned with the Bluetooth audio, it's useless anyway because you're compressing it. So even if I've turned on this lossless, I'm still not getting the full quality. Okay, yes, it's supposed to be better. Yes, it's using up a lot more data. But is it actually benefiting me in any way? I'm not too sure. Yeah. So in that case, would a £20 wireless or wired earbuds be better than a 200? Oh, let's just do wired. Let's do £20 wired headphones. Compared to a £200 wireless Bluetooth one. Would there be a sound difference then, based on what you've just mentioned there?
So yes and no. So if we look at it just from like a theoretical point of view, yes, the $20 or £20 earphone or wired earbud should be better because obviously there's no loss in what's being sent, whereas the Bluetooth one will have that loss. But that's the difference is actually the wired one, even though it doesn't lose any data, it's £20. So it's going to be fairly cheap. The, speakers they use might not be the best. So the audio that you get, even though you've received all the data, the actual speakers probably won't be able to display that full data to your ears. So you won't really hear all of the music essentially.
Okay.
Whereas the £200 wireless earbuds, for example, they lose the data initially, but a lot of them have like an inbuilt functions to kind of retrieve that lost data or to compensate for it. So for example, it has things like, It has high-end drivers and digital signal processing. So essentially it just helps to bring back the data back to how it was essentially. So with the £200 ear ones, you're probably hearing audio a little bit better than the £20 earphones actually.
Okay. Interesting. So maybe there is some method to the madness. Yeah. But I guess here's the thing. Are we trading quality for convenience? You know, that's the thing. It's like we have these Bluetooth earphones and they're very expensive.
Yeah.
They could die at any point.
True.
You know, it's more technical. There's more wires. There's more problems and things that could go wrong with them compared to that £20 one. I can buy 10 £20 ones.
Yeah.
For the price of the one. Bluetooth one.
So I guess you gotta think about the actual life cycle of whatever you're using. How long is it actually gonna last?
How long is it gonna last?
That £200 gonna actually outlast 10 £20 earphones? Maybe not.
Not.
Yeah.
But also you also gotta look at, do you really care for audio that much? That these £200 ones, you gotta weigh up the pros and the cons. Okay. Okay. Let me give you scenarios. Of what I'm thinking here. Gym.
Yeah.
You're working out. I'll be honest with you. I am not using wired headphones at the gym.
Same.
I used to do that back in the day. Not doing that at the gym. It's just impossible. Horrible. So for that specific use case, a Bluetooth phone would make sense. Now, where your price range falls with that now also is dependent on use case. So back to this gym situation. I wouldn't buy a £200 headphone to go to the gym. It's too expensive, and also there's weights everywhere. Things can break, fall off.
Drops.
Exactly. And you've probably seen so many clips online of people doing like deadlifts,
and then it falls out.
It just falls off,
crush it.
and then they crush it or something, or it just falls off repeatedly and it breaks. That's how you damage it over time. So at that point, you're better off actually getting Bluetooth, cheap headphones. Now, another scenario. I'll give two more scenarios. You're going on a flight. Now, you're regular frequent flyer, or you're regularly jumping on buses or things like that on a regular basis, trains, whatnot. You like audio, so maybe you actually consider getting the wired headphones because now you're actually not doing a movement exercise anymore. You're not actually doing much. You're just sitting in one position and you're able to frequently listen to audio. So maybe now you've got a choice between the Bluetooth and the wired one. But in that case, which one would you take? Would you go for the very expensive Bluetooth one or the wired one? This is more a personal choice, really, but I think for me, I'd actually go for the Bluetooth one. Again, that's just because I've been using Bluetooth for a long time, but also I'm still technically on the go. I'm still kind of moving. I still have to get from home to there. So yes, for that one, I would probably go for the Bluetooth. What would you go for?
I think I would be the same. I think, Bluetooth. It's just, the cables, like, for example, like just moving your bag, or like, I don't know, if you're on a plane trying to reach to get your bag, if you've got, your kind of cable, it's just messy.
Yeah.
So I'd say
Bluetooth for that one. So, okay, cool. Last scenario. You're not going anywhere. You're literally at home enjoying music. Just free time, chill time. At that point, what are you using?
Wired.
Easily. Makes sense. You aren't moving anywhere. You're literally stuck at home. Wired makes sense in that position to me. So I think it also just depends on where you are. What you're using. And the scenario and situation that you're in, really. I think that's the conclusion I want to draw from that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think especially for like when I used to do video editing as well. I remember that first time I used Bluetooth earphones, and the video was slightly delayed because I forgot to account for the delay that Bluetooth has.
Yeah.
But yeah, with wired it was just fine, perfect. I could make sure everything actually matched.
Yeah. It's kind of funny really that 2000 and let me get the date correct here. When Apple removed the headphone jack.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that.
It's kind of hilarious because we look back on that now, and a lot of us were angered by it.
Yeah, yeah.
But unfortunately, we had to conform. And at the time, Apple was the gold standard, so everyone copied, everyone followed suit. You saw the adverts from Samsung and whoever mocking Apple, saying, "Lol, you guys should remove the headphone jack."
And then a few hours later, it's gone.
Where are we? We're now in an era where everything is Bluetooth now. So we've sort of been forced out of the wired, which is why I'm liking this resurgence of wired headphones.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's also a case that because there's this resurgence of physical things, I'm also seeing a resurgence of the BlackBerry.
Oh, yes.
Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I saw that new phone. Was it the Clicks communication?
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The Clicks communicator that came out.
Yeah.
There's also another one, Unihertz, that's actually been out for a while, to be honest. But both devices recently just came out, and they basically look like a BlackBerry. Like, it's just interesting. Why do you think then people are going to that physical buttons again? Why do you think that's the case?
Haptics, I think, is a big thing. I think people like to feel a response, like a tactile response when they press something. So that's why you see like many handheld devices like controllers and phones and stuff, there's a lot of emphasis put on haptics to make it feel, responsive. So adding those buttons back, it almost feels like we're returning back to, the nice glory days where you can feel, the haptics. You can feel a response when you press buttons.
Yeah.
And I think as well, it's just a bit of nostalgia comes into it as well. Because, when you think of Blackberries, you think about, the good things, the messages, the things, how you can communicate with people.
GBM.
Yeah, all that. So I think, there's a bit of nostalgia plus, just that nice feeling of being able to touch stuff. So I think, well, that's probably why a lot of people are liking this resurgence back to, keyboards, like a
physical,
phone.
touchpads. Not touchpads, sorry, keypads. That's quite interesting you say that. And I think a lot of these companies also market themselves in a way to get you to get off your phone a little bit more.
Yeah.
The Clicks communicator is sort of advertised as a second phone.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You've got your main phone, but you've also got this second phone. And essentially, for the viewers out there, how the Clicks communicator works is that on the homepage, as your home screen, you have all your apps, and they're all your messaging apps will always be at the top. So you can see who's just messaged you, and you can just respond like that, essentially. And that's all you can see on your Clicks communicator on the homepage. Obviously, you got your other apps as well, but its main purpose is sort of to be a second phone that you turn to to just reply to the necessary things. If it's Slack, if it's Teams, just replying to Teams messages specifically for that. The problem we have now is that sometimes we want to message someone and then you get a notification from TikTok, from YouTube, from Instagram, and then you deviate your attention, and all of a sudden you're sucked in.
Yeah.
You're meant to be doing focused work, and now you're sucked in. Is that the case? Do you think that's another reason why people are just they've realized they're distracted by their devices a lot more now and are trying to find solutions to that?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think there's a lot of people I've spoken to, even like, older ones with like wives and kids and stuff. They've noticed that even they're spending a lot of times on, their phones. So a lot of people are trying to find ways to cut back. So that second phone, having a second phone specifically just for messaging, right? I think a lot of people would appreciate that because the amount of times where you go to respond to something and you just see that small, notification of something else
Yeah.
that can suck you in. So yeah, being able to almost like separate it, separate the two. You've got, a device specifically for, whatever you're scrolling, watching stuff, but then you also have another device that's more like for priority stuff. So emails,
Exactly.
messages. Yeah.
Communication.
Communication. I think that is key. I think that's a thing that a lot of people are looking for now.
Yeah. They're looking for that more human touch. And I think if you remember the BlackBerry days of BBM, the reason why people loved it so much and think back to that time with such fun memories is because when they were using BBM, when they were using their BlackBerries, they felt a lot more connected to the people that were messaging. And can I get your BBM pin? Like that was like a phrase that people used, and they actually kept in contact with people. Like you gotta remember, Facebook, it initially launched as a way to communicate with your friends and family, right? You go on Facebook now, are you I'm not using anything to
never
communicate.
Using that.
Exactly. If anything, I'm using it on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
I'll never use it at Facebook for anything else other than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we have WhatsApp. Yes, we have iMessage, but I'm finding that people are less likely to actually message on these platforms anyway, just because there's just so much distraction. You can't hold a conversation with someone for more than 5 minutes texting wise, because they're jumping onto YouTube or you've interrupted their scrolling session on TikTok. That's just something I thought about when it comes to like the resurgence of this BlackBerry. I think people are trying to get more of that human connection again in a world of AI, as we mentioned last week. That human touch is always just going to be a good thing. And I think it's going to be very, very prevalent this year more than ever, that human connection, I think. So do you think we're going to see the headphone jacks coming back before we move on?
Will they come back? Probably not. I think obviously we've got the USB-C headphones.
Yeah.
Or the wired
jack.
Yeah.
Well, not jack. But
so I guess that's its replacement, really. Yeah. It does kind of suck because, you can only, charge? You can't charge and use at the same time, So I don't know.
Just even thinking of that just reminded me of a Samsung advert.
Where
they were like mocking iPhone. Oh, you can't listen to music and charge at the same time. And now look at where we are now.
Yeah.
Yes, we're still having to do the same thing.
Actually, this could be the increase in use of wireless charging then.
Interesting.
So you can listen to your music and charge wirelessly.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you now. I have thoughts about wireless charging. I have very big thoughts about wireless charging.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I hate wireless charger. I think it's useless.
Yeah.
And I think the way it's been implemented, number one, it's not been... Let me not go too off tangent here. I mean, just rant about this. I'll get your opinion and we'll move on to the next segment. But there's been no change since wireless has come out. We've tried to do Qi 2 charging. Qi 2 charging. All it is that there's magnets now. So now it sticks to your phone or whatever device you're using better. That is the only difference. We've tried to put more coils into a larger surface area with varied results to the point where most things don't even do that anymore, right? I want to see a desk that is all wireless charging. I can place it anywhere on this desk and it charges. We still haven't got there. The technology has it. It just means we can't do it. We've seen the advancements in technology this far and we still can't put wireless charging in a form factor that can cover a wide surface area that I can put my phone anywhere and it charges without, heating up something or something like that. That's my first argument. We've made no change in wireless charging. Number two, it's not truly wireless either.
Yeah.
Because what is charging the coils to charge your phone is a wire. So when I see all these YouTubers, when they're making videos about phones, talking about you, MKBHD, and one of the first things you criticize a phone when it comes out with is lack of a wireless charger. I sort of scoff. I scoff because wireless charging hasn't caught on. Maybe in the UK it hasn't caught on as much, right? There's not that many wireless charging ports or points anywhere. in cafes and things like that to make it even viable. And it's just an expensive thing that you don't need. And I've got more points, but my last point I'm going to bring up is speeds. Wireless charging speeds are nowhere near wired charging speeds.
Yeah.
So why am I sort of limiting myself on phones because I want something with wireless charging that A, gets hot, by the way, when I put it on there. So now my phone's burning. And B, it charges really slow anyway.
Okay,
So to the point where my phone's getting hot, the charger is so slow that it doesn't actually charge my phone, and it keeps it at the same battery level. You go to any person that has a wireless charger or wireless charging point, and they'll tell you the same thing. Sometimes it doesn't actually charge your phone.
Yeah.
It just keeps it at the same level, and it's hot. So all the cons are no benefit. Why are we going to wireless charging?
Yeah. Nah, I agree. I think for me, I just see it as a gimmick. It feels very gimmicky. It feels like, that one additional feature that you'd usually like, if you're selling a product, you're like, oh, it has all this, but it also has that. But you don't focus on that. But I feel like a lot of people are trying to focus on that
for some reason
instead, when at the end it's just a gimmick. Like,
it's a gimmick.
You've said it. It charges faster without. So at the end, it's just for if. I think the only way I can see it being used more is if it's in more public places or in more things naturally. So obviously we've got some in cars now.
That's true.
But yeah, if like a cafe has it, if trains have it, I mean, I've seen a few, but if more trains have it, if all these public places have it, then I can see it coming or becoming more popular. But yeah, as of now, it seems like a gimmick. It doesn't gimmicky.
Make any sense. Like, I don't know, with wireless charging, it's one of those things I'm very passionate about. Phone companies, the thing is, to add coils to the back of your phone means that you take up a certain amount of space in your phone.
Yeah.
Now, that means then you have to supplement that with your battery. So sometimes now your battery is smaller now because you've decided to add more space for your coils to charge your phone wirelessly. So again, it's useless. And there is now packs that you can buy off AliExpress that you can have just the coils themselves in a sort of like a rectangular pack.
Yeah.
Right? Connect it through copper wires to your charging ports anyway. Stick it to the back of your phone, add a case on, and boom, you've just made your phone wirelessly charge without adding wireless charging to the phone anyway.
Yeah.
So they could bring back, we're going to talk about this, modular phones. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Modular phones. Like, they had their benefit and they had their place in the world. Wireless charging is a modular accessory.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a selling point that most of these YouTubers are making it sound to be. But hey, let's not get into that. I think we'll sort of look into the ownership of things a little bit more now, and how I don't know, Josh. We're not really we don't own things anymore.
Yeah, I know.
We talked about physical media making a resurgence, and there's a reason for that. We don't own things much.
Yeah,
vinyls, we're having that because it's collectibles. I can go upstairs now, pick up a vinyl, put on a player, and boom, I'm playing music. Remember back in the day, we had cassettes and DVD stacks and shelves.
Yeah.
We've got rid of ours. We had a whole stack of loads of stuff, movies, TV shows, everything. Good old days. You could just take a DVD out, put it in, and there. It's yours for life.
Yeah.
That is your movie. You have a movie night. You don't have to say, what's your Netflix?
Yeah.
Has anyone got access to Amazon Prime? Can we then go on to Hulu? Actually, it's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Do you see how annoying that is?
Sometimes you have to use a VPN just to even
get it. Because some of them aren't even in your
region.
I'm just getting heated just think about this. But yes, we are seeing sort of that resurgence of the actually buying things.
Yeah.
But I think I want to go into like piracy a little bit. There was a case study of a game that came out called The Crew by Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Now, what happened was the servers came offline. They realized they weren't making enough money from it. Whatever their decisions were, I don't know. A lot of people were playing at the time, and now the game's unplayable.
Yeah.
Boom, gone like that. The disc, whatever it is just a toaster now or coaster, whatever you want to use it for, is useless. You plug it, you put it into your game, it doesn't load up.
Yeah.
That's one case study. There's one case study that hits closer to home for both of us. A game called Paragon came out in 2016, open beta. We loved it so much. Again, it's an online game, and essentially by 2018, they shut down in favor of the dreaded Fortnite. Yeah. We have hate for Fortnite for this specific reason. Yeah. Anyways, Paragon came out. Game died. Fortunately, they released all their assets for free, which is good, which is goodwill.
Like the only good thing.
That's the only good thing that they did. Epic Games, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'll just give these 2 points sort of to illustrate the point that, you know, when games die, they are totally unplayable for life.
Yeah.
You can buy the game, like The Crew. You can buy in a disc form. And then when the service is shut, now the disc is useless. You've just spent £60, £50 on a game that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or in the case of Paragon, you've maybe bought some packs and some skins in the game. Again, Paragon's a unique one because they did refund a lot of what people bought. Not all games do that.
Yeah.
Not all games do that. Just briefly before we go into it, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's very scary when you think about it. Like you've bought something that you feel like is yours. You know, you've played it, whatever, but then for whatever reason, they decide to shut it down or take it away from you. And that's, you know, perfectly legal because they can, you know, annoyingly they can. So yeah, it's very scary and a bit annoying as well. Because imagine you've, again, spent all this time, money on a product that at the end of the day isn't yours. Like, that's the annoying part. It's the fact that it isn't yours. So, or even if it is yours, they could take away a certain service to basically make it useless. So they shut down servers. You can't play it anymore.
Yeah,
so,
you can't.
Yeah, it does suck. I think it's more frustrating than anything. The fact that they're able to do it and almost get away with it, really.
Yeah, wild, isn't it? I think you touched on a question I actually had myself.
Yeah.
The difference between actually buying a game and licensing a game. What does the fine print say?
So that's all in the EULA, that annoying long
EULA
text that you always see at the start.
The fine print.
Yep. Ugh. And the annoying thing is, well, in it, usually if you scroll far enough, you'll probably find that when it says you're purchasing it, you're not actually purchasing the game, you're purchasing a license, essentially. It's saying that this is licensed, not sold. So that's the thing. And since it's licensed, it means that at any point they can, you know, remove it. They can take that away from you. You don't own it. All you just own is like a ticket, essentially, to say that, yes, I can play this game and I'm allowed to, you know, play the game. That's all you own. You don't actually own the physical game. You don't own the code that comes with it. You don't own any of that. Just a simple like verification that, yes, I own this game. Essentially. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Just hearing that actually is just kind of a bit annoying.
Yeah.
To just hear, because you'd think that when you buy something that is yours tangibly, it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. It just doesn't sit right.
What are your thoughts on that actually?
Yeah, I think it just doesn't make sense. Like you said earlier with the analogy of the chair, for example. Like imagine you think you're buying the chair, but actually all you're buying is like a ticket to say, yes, I can sit on this chair.
Yeah.
And then at any point they could just take that chair away.
Exactly.
It seems ridiculous, but that is what they're doing at the end of the day. They're just giving you that little ticket to say, yes, I could sit on it. But at any point they could take that chair away from you. You know, you can't, and as well, you can't really edit, you can't do anything with that chair as well. You can't, I don't know, change the color, paint it, or sell it to someone else. You can't do that because it's not yours.
It's not yours.
So, yeah.
It sort of reminds me of the famous quote, which we'll touch on and we'll get into now. If buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an interesting one, that one.
Yeah.
Piracy. Is piracy actually stealing from a company that doesn't let you buy it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's I think
Ooh.
it's one of those moral dilemmas, I guess. I think it also depends on, well, for me personally, I think it depends on what was the company behind what you're pirating. So is it this multi-million dollar, company, this big company that's just putting out these games, or is it like a small, indie developer that's spent however long to create this? I think the scale of the backing behind it plays a huge part into whether it is acceptable or not for me personally. I think seeing if it was like a small indie developer, pirating it just kind of sucks for them because they've spent their time, effort.
Usually though, with an indie developer, they'll usually keep the game going.
Yeah.
At that point, it's a passion project for them.
Yeah.
So they'll usually keep it going for a long period of time, even if the returns are just probably not that great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, I was actually about to touch on that. Yeah, because with the annoying thing with all these big companies as well, because you touched on it earlier with the crew, for example.
Yeah.
They'll shut it down purely because they want you to buy the next one.
Yeah.
Right. So then the reason piracy is annoying for them is because that means that you're spending time playing the previous version that they don't want you to play. They want you to play the new stuffs. Yeah, I think it is with big companies. It just kind of sucks if they're not, actually taking care of the product. It almost makes people want to pirate.
Yeah, it is. Case in point, Overwatch. Overwatch 1 came out on disc. Why did they need to pivot to Overwatch 2 if money wasn't a factor?
Yeah.
Did we need a second game? You could have put everything that was in Overwatch 2 in Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
Why? What are we doing?
I think the funniest part was the fact that I think they specifically did it to add player PvE into it.
And guess what?
And then they didn't add it.
He's been scrapped. Wow.
So it was such a waste. Yeah, basically just reskin the
game and then said, guys, we're gonna go from 6 feet. What was it? 6 feet?
I think
to 5v5.
Yeah, I think 6 to 5. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Game breaking
stuff, eh? Kept the map, imported the new maps, add some brand new maps here and there. We were still doing what they usually were doing with the first one anyway. Yeah. It's a bit off topic. I don't want to go into too much detail, but remember loot boxes?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when people used to hate them?
Yeah, I remember that.
Everyone used to be like, oh, loot boxes so predatory. I think what we have now is way more predatory.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I saw a video actually about it. It was showing like the evolution of loot boxes.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it was also looking at like the percentages of like what they drop and like, what the rewards you're getting out of the loot boxes. And like a lot of the stuff now with just monetization in general, like, yes, they'll have loot boxes. They'll have other things like battle passes. They'll have cosmetics that you have to pay for, one-time thing, or features in the game that they need you, or like that you need to even play the game, for example. Yeah. That's where pay to win comes into it. Yeah. So a lot of games now are a lot more predatory when it comes to like post after you've got the game to keep you in to spend more money. Essentially, it's more live service. Like what all the extra things they can, to get you to purchase. Whereas before there was less of that. Like your main purchase was the game itself. That was it.
You got the game. The loot boxes you can choose to get. They're usually just cosmetics.
And a lot of them were just cosmetics, or you freely earnable in game. Like you didn't need to spend any money on it.
You just buy. You get the packs from just playing the game. Like we talk about gacha now being a big thing. Not many people, I mean they do, but not many people are talking about how predatory that is compared to loot boxes, because with a gacha system, sometimes characters, playable, actually things you play in the game, mechanics in the game are locked behind a paywall that's essentially a lottery system. If you think about it,
yeah.
Because okay, let's just say I spend a certain amount of money in the game. Let's just say I buy £100 worth of whatever the in-game currency is. That £100 still may not get the character that I just bought,
which is insane.
And Genshin pioneered this, obviously. Cookie Hunter. Cookie was the one. I forgot it was called. There was one that was gacha. It's the first mainstream gacha. I forgot what it's called. But yes, this is like very predatory. And deviates a little bit from what we're talking about, but just wanted to.
I think I was thinking about as well before, like pity. They didn't used to have a lot of these things. Didn't have the pity system. Yeah. Where you're, at least if you don't get it the first time, you're guaranteed to get it the second time. Yeah. Like some games don't have that. For example, take Clash Royale. Like the heroes that they recently added. Yeah. There is no pity. There's no real pity system. Okay. For getting it, and you can get duplicates of the same thing.
And what can you do with said duplicates? Can you upgrade them?
No. Well, they refund you, but they don't refund you enough to get another character or another hero. Essentially. Wow. They only give you, I think was it 60 or 100, and you need 200 of the shards.
Seriously? Not even half?
Yeah, not even half, which is where the greedy soul comes in. But
see, when a game, another quote was mentioned, when a game is free or when anything is free, you're usually the product at that point. And when it comes to gachas, when it comes to all these predatory practices, it's true. The games are free. You're like, oh, fantastic. Great. The only thing that costing me right now, if I really want to go free to play, is time. Yeah. That's it. But now it's, but actually, if I want to actually enjoy my time on this game, I do need to spend. Okay, I'll spend £5 here. I'll spend £5 here. Spend another £5 here. Spend another £5 here. By the end of the year, you spent enough for 2 games. Yeah. 2 whole full games, essentially. And to the average consumer, it's probably nothing. They're like, it's only £5. Yeah. Do you know? These practices. I can get into, especially mobile games, all day because it's unregulated right now. Yeah. The EU's not stepping in. No one's really saying anything. Countries have banned certain bits of it and called it out, but really and truly, it makes so much money. It's like Genshin makes billions. Yeah, there's every gacha game has revenue charts or on a monthly basis. So whenever there's an update that comes out for each one, they check revenue stats. Yeah, and the overall stats on gacha just alone, the genre itself is billions every month. Top charts get 90 million, 100 something million. When Genshin's not Genshin, when Hoyo's new game came out, do you remember what it was? Star Rail, Honkai Star Rail, that one, millions it was making every month. So we as consumers, we're just taking it. Whatever. We're accepting anything that happens. You spoon feed us this, we'll take it. And that's unfortunately the only way we can hurt these companies is by not spending. Yeah, we hurt them in their wallets.
A mass exodus or a mass. Most people are not spending. That is like the only way for them to. Because again, it's like some companies, if they make a change that's clearly predatory, but people still are buying it, change. People are still engaging in it. So clearly it's still working somehow. So just leave it in. But if everyone was not, interacting with these things, then they're kind of forced to change. They have to reflect. They're like, okay, well, clearly this has to be a bad thing if most people aren't, interacting with this. So
it's quite funny you say that because you touched on Clash Royale a little bit. They have a sister game called Clash of Clans. A lot of people know this game by now. Clash of Clans loves their community. Yeah. There's no predatory practices. There is a bit, but when there is something that comes out that seems a bit predatory, they're called out by the community. Yeah. And once they do this, they revert the change or they bring a change that we actually want. And I'll say, people that play Clash of Clans, they're eating good for the most part.
They are.
They have devs that actually care about their work and their reputation.
Yeah.
So much so they're actually putting a lot more effort now than maybe they would put in years ago.
Yeah, I think the past few updates that they've made, I think almost no one has anything bad to say. All of them, because they've always been good. They addressed every issue people had. The long wait times, that's been reduced. Training times been reduced. The cost of training been reduced. All of this
reduced,
gone. Yeah. So all of these just back to back good changes.
W's,
yeah.
But the reason I say that is that yes, they might be making a lot there. But Clash Royale is doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Still making money. It's still making money. So these two cases now, when they sit in the boardroom at Supercell, Clash of Clans on the left, Clash Royale on the right, Clash of Royale is like, how else can we finesse our player base? What else can we do? The CEO is like, so how much money have we made? Oh, a lot of money. These two are the big winners. Thank you so much. Carry on. How much money do you need, Clash Royale? You need a little bit more to implement this bad change that no one wants. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. Take it.
You're gonna
you make money anyway.
10.
Exactly. The Clash of Clans devs are looking at them like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like the younger brother that gets all the rewards for no effort at all. No slate to you, Josh. But it's basically that. That's just weird. Yeah. Baffles me. Let's not get too off tangent. It's gonna be a long episode if not. We've sort of looked at the ownership of things. We talked about piracy a bit. There was an act that came out, I think it was last year or the year before. The Stop Killing Games movement that was essentially trying to introduce a case where games that do go offline are kept in sort of perpetual motion or perpetual state for a number of years. Essentially, what it would be is that an instance of the game, maybe the devs don't iterate on it, but essentially it needs to be in a playable condition for an indefinite amount of time, right? Essentially, so that people that have purchased the game or are still actively playing such a game can still enjoy it after some time. And that's the movement that came across. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that movement?
Yeah, I think it's definitely necessary because imagine, you spent money on a game and it's gone. There's no worse feeling than that. You've just wasted money essentially. But if companies are keeping them alive, it also just keeps that community alive for longer. Think about how many communities have basically just been died out essentially because the game stopped their production or stopped their services. Take for example a game I absolutely love, Clash Mini, for example. That community is basically gone now because the game no longer exists. There's no version. Well, technically there is a version, but that's going into the server remakes that people have made and stuff. But as it stands, there is no official server, at least. So that community is gone. They've got nowhere. They have to go to other things now. You've just removed this core group of people essentially from a good product. So I think this act to stop this from happening, it keeps these communities together. It keeps these games going on for indefinitely. There's no end now. You can actually benefit from keeping or from buying a game because you have it indefinitely.
Wow. Yeah. I'm in full support of it, definitely. Obviously for the non-gamers that are listening to this probably not affect you, but it might do. It might go out from just purely games. It might we talk about planned obsolescence in terms of designs of technology that we use now. It's something that's been introduced slowly over the years, essentially, where things die purposely. They're planned to fail. Apple got hit with a lawsuit some years back because every new update or every new phone they released, their battery, it was battery gate they called it, their batteries would degrade, and iPhone users felt that because you'd be having an iPhone that came out the year before, but for some reason your battery is worse because a new phone came out. How does that make sense? So they actually got caught with that and there was a lawsuit. So that is planned obsolescence. So things are just degrading over time.
Yeah.
And it's just, it does suck to see. So yeah, when I'm talking about stop killing games, yes, it might just be in reference to games at the moment, but in the future, it might bleed into more things than just that.
Like even like softwares, you know, maybe there's like some softwares people use that are, you know, maybe it's a cloud-based software. That cloud goes, you lose, you know, that software itself. So yeah, there's it's not just games, it's anything. It can be anything really. Yeah. Software, you know, things you just use on a daily basis. Just if it's planned to, you know, not be usable.
Yeah.
Well, you're kind of forced now to, you know, just to conform to get the new one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm in full support of the movement, 100%. I think let's sort of get back into that piracy a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember the adverts? You wouldn't steal a car, would you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't, you know, steal whatever, a TV, would you? Stealing the car is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Downloading a car in a game, that's fine.
Yeah.
Stealing a car in a game, that's fine. Where's the line? Is piracy okay if the company is a $1 billion monopoly? Again, you did touch on that before.
Yeah.
Who are you stealing from? Is it a small company? Is it a big company? Just want you to reiterate the point.
Yeah. I think for me, the two things that I think about is, one, what is the price, or what are they asking for you? How much are you spending on this? I don't know, whatever this company is offering you. You know, is it a reasonable price? Like, am I paying, I don't know, 1,000 for something that like doesn't offer me that same value for how much I'm spending? That is obviously going to push people to pirate, because why would you spend so much on something that isn't giving, there's no money to value ratio at that point. So that's I think a good reason why a lot of people pirate. And then the second one, if the software just sucks, or if the game just sucks, like why would I spend money on a terrible experience when I could, you know, I'd rather just, if it was free, yeah, I don't mind playing it even if it sucks. But if it's terrible and I'm paying for it, no chance at all. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't make any sense that you would withhold all that. Just withhold the like software, the game itself for I don't know what, money. At the end of the day, it's money. And again, these multi-million dollar companies, they have the money. They have, you know, like one or two people pirating is really not going to hit it. It's, and again, there will always be people who spend money on it anyway.
Of course,
100%.
right?
They will always make their money back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think, again, if it's a big multi-billion dollar company, piracy, I think, well, personally, I see it as a bit more okay. But yeah, if it goes lower than that, that's when it becomes
it gets a bit iffy. That's not to say we're advocating for piracy. We don't condone it. But yeah, it's a good thing to talk about. And I think it bleeds as well into sort of subscriptions. We have subscription fatigue. Oh, my life. There was a recent study that was done. 70% of people are in one form of subscription. And an equal percentage of them have this subscription fatigue.
Yeah.
We're in a world where season 1 is on Netflix, season 2 is on Hulu. You have to pay for both to get both. You know, it's bleeding into everything that we do. There was once on Sky, you could pay for a bundle to have all sports.
Yes, I remember that.
You could add that as a thing. All sports. Now it's so fractured. You have to pay each individual one. Amazon Prime has sports now sometimes. Not all. Not all games. Not all games are Amazon Prime. So Premier League sometimes you'll see on Amazon Prime. You can watch the games on there if you've got Amazon Prime. However, some games, if you have Amazon Prime, you're not only you're paying for Amazon Prime, you then have to pay whatever company it is that's actually hosting it.
Yeah.
So if it's Peacock or whatever it is, you have to pay them as well for their usage on their own platform. Amazon's the worst for this, by the way.
Yeah.
They have free stuff, but then they also have the things you have to pay on top of that.
Yeah.
So if I want to watch a Stars, let's just say, a TV show on Amazon Prime. It's there on my Amazon Prime, but then I have to pay for the Stars bundle within that. So it's almost like a game in a way where you pay for the game, but then you also got to pay for the DLC.
Yeah.
And then you also got to pay, let's just say, to use armor. You got to pay to actually like equip things.
Yeah.
You got an equipment tool. You need to pay to use that, by the way.
Yeah.
That's sort of how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. This subscription fatigue, something that will get better or worse over time. Do you think people are sort of being forced into piracy?
Yeah. I think one thing I was thinking, maybe this could be me being a bit of a conspiracy theorist here, but I've noticed we have all these different, streaming sites, Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, but it feels like they're not competing anymore. You know what I mean? Like usually when you have multiple companies doing the same thing, there's a bit of competition where they're trying to offer you the best service to entice you to stick to that one, one software, one site.
Yeah.
Whereas now it doesn't feel like they're doing that. It feels like they all know their roles and they're just trying to make you spend as much money between all of them.
All of them. Yeah.
It feels like I saw the word oligopoly. It feels like where it's like a monopoly with multiple companies all just kind of maintaining the status quo to just keep you spending at each. And I think a lot of people are noticing that now with, why am I paying for multiple things just to see this one show?
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
So yeah, I think that's where, I mean, we've seen examples of it in the past, like the whole light bulbs. How light bulbs got so good to the point where the companies realized they're not going to make money. So they ended up, reducing light bulbs so that people would spend more money on it and stuff like that. We've seen it in the past. I feel like they're trying to do this now with like streaming services. They're
not even trying. I see it. There's a word that's been coined. I won't say the full word, but it's I'll say it's N-pupification. You could probably Google that and find out the full word. N-pupification. Basically what it is the subscription model or whatever it is, the company sets out with the best intentions. Yeah. Of course. Look, Netflix came out with an alternative to TV, an alternative to movies. You can rent TVs and movies, take it back to Netflix, and then later down the line it was pay £5 a month, pay $5.99 a month, and you get a catalog of everything. Yeah. Right? As it stands now, these services are getting more and more expensive. You're essentially across all subscription platforms in a month or in a year, you're probably paying more than what you were doing with cable TV. Yeah. The money that you were trying to save by moving to subscription services, you are actually now paying the same amount and more. Yeah. The money you will save from going to the cinema to watch these movies, the people saying, oh my gosh, £15 for a cinema viewing is crazy. £20 for a cinema viewing is crazy. Those people are now paying £20 plus every month, right? To have the chance to see these movies. Remember, some of these are limited edition, limited access. Yeah. Once they're gone, they're gone. Once they're off the platform, you're going to have to find where they've gone and now pay for that subscription service to get that back. Or wait, or whatever. Or in worst cases, AI usage in the subtitling or the audio and dubbing of things. They're using AI and it's whack. You're not even getting the full experience anymore. It's really N-pupification. They start off with the best intention. I'll give you a description of what that is. They start with the best intention, and as time goes on, the service that they were offering initially it gets worse. Yeah. And it's there to serve the big corporations, the investors, the people that actually want to make money. It's there just to please them. And every update is going to that goal, essentially. And the users are basically just not regarded at all. And it's sort of almost taught in business schools as well, where you can start up a company and you might make it free. You might make it like the best service ever. You don't care if you you're burning millions
Yeah.
because the investors are the ones. It's the investors' money at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Yeah.
And as slowly, you turn it up, you change things a little bit, you then forget the user. It's all
Yeah.
there to make money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'll give you 3 examples, and one of them is the most recent one. Uber Eats when it first came out.
Yeah.
Or
that's a
just
good one.
Uber. It was a very good service. Paid their drivers well, fantastic. Everyone was on it. And that was a means to get as many users on the app as possible now.
Yeah.
So now, usually when you're outside trying to get home, you say, get an Uber.
Yeah.
You know, people have got into your minds now. Same with Netflix. Same with Uber Eats as well. Uber Eats came out. It's an alternative. It's good. They were giving out free codes all the time. Do you remember those days?
Yeah.
Me, you, mom, dad will
You
all
should
have
get a
an
code.
account and would always get frequent codes.
Yeah.
£20 off, £50
£30
off. I
yeah.
had some crazy ones. And every month, because we'd always get one a month,
Yeah.
we'd check who has a good code that we can use. And then we'd use the code and then we'd just eat good for that. That lasted 2 years, maybe, like max. Now they don't give out codes at all.
Yeah.
Codes is not even a thing anymore. Now they've actually added Uber. Was it Uber Gold or was it Uber Gold? So now you're paying a subscription, get free delivery or whatever it is, and then also they're paying their drivers worse than what they used to do at the very beginning. And there's been many exposés about that specifically. So that's one example I wanted to bring up about how things are just getting worse. OpenAI.
Oh, yeah. You were talking about that to me recently, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this recently. OpenAI, it came out with good intentions. When was it? 2022? 2021? Something like that?
Yeah.
2022. 2022, OpenAI. It was end of 2021, but it blew up in 2022. OpenAI comes out with this revolutionary AI tool. It's the name, Open AI. Their intentions were to make this open source. It's a way to give back to people, and it blew up. 100 million users in just 30 days, less than 30 days. That's crazy. Really good, really successful. Investors were investing. Investors were like, this is going to be the next best thing. Every company was like, we're going to replace everybody in this company with AI.
Yeah.
This is the future. Their minds were blown. This is amazing. So they poured so much into OpenAI, into Sam Altman and everything. Sam Altman said, thank you so much, guys. Just remember, we're never going to put ads on our service. It degrades the product.
Yeah.
It degrades it. That's what he said. Oh, you can call me on that. We've now found recently that he's going to create a new update called ChatGPT Go, where you are served ads for the free tier, right? Now, okay, his reason for doing it is that 97% of people are using free tier.
Yeah.
There's 3% of people actually paying for ChatGPT. Understandable, you know? But he's going back on his word of what he said initially of we are trying to go ad free. Now he's putting ads. How does that even work? How does the ads, aren't the ads going to infringe on privacy? 'Cause they're looking at your chats. And how does it affect the chats themselves? Because if I was to say, I want the top 5 best headphones, we just talked about that.
Yeah.
Headphones, I want the top 5 best headphones. The advertiser could just say, no, I want me to be the top.
Yeah.
I'll pay you, OpenAI, put me at top. You're not getting the most accurate information anymore. At that point, you're turning to what Google used to be, where you used to Google top 5,
and they'll just
and
be
whoever's on top.
Yeah.
Sponsored link will be at the top. Whoever paid will be at the top. Or with the articles that also do the same thing. Whoever paid the most will be at the top. At that point, what's the point? I might as well just go Google to actually get real data or whatever it is, or research myself. Why go to ChatGPT if I want to do that? Okay, so those are just 2 examples of how things are just going impipification. It's just going from bad to, like, it was started off with good intentions, and obviously here we are now. Yeah, you know, when things just aren't working out, and I think that just it just sucks really. Yeah, I wanted to add a little trivia question segment. Obviously, in the last episode, we had 3 trivia points, but I wanted to just add this in here. We won't do it like how we did before, but it's just to give you some quick facts. Okay. So you know, okay? I'll just ask some questions. So out of all these headlines, I want you to say if they're real or fake. Okay. Okay? I'll give you 3 headlines here, okay? Steam is the first one. Okay. Terms of service states account is non-transferable on death. You cannot leave games to your kids. So headline 1, Steam accounts cannot be transferred upon death. Is that real or fake?
Can't be transferred. Damn, I don't. Are Steam that greedy? That is the question. Yeah, I'll say that's true. I feel like that's true.
Yeah, you are correct.
Oh wow,
it is true. Valve have actually confirmed this in 2024 that upon death, your Steam account is non-transferable.
Wow.
So you might have built up a whole catalog of amazing games that you want to play. But yeah, they're not transferable.
It's just gone.
There we go. Gone like that. Wow. And I'll be honest, just on Steam are doing good. Don't get me wrong. I like Steam. They're a very ethical company.
Yeah.
Okay, so this headline itself is damning, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not overly annoyed by it. Because their head of service actually, their CEO, mentioned that a famous quote actually, piracy is almost always a service problem. Let's not go into that too much, but do you see that with services nowadays? I'll give my opinion on this first before I ask for yours. I think people pirate now because the service, again, is impupification. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Things are just getting worse. Services aren't as great as they used to be. Netflix organizations is terrible.
Yeah.
Catalogs are just, it doesn't make sense. They categorize things and they haven't improved on it. It's bad. It's always a service problem. Things are getting more expensive. That's why people turn to piracy.
Yeah.
We talked about this when it comes to anime, right? Right now, Crunchyroll is the only one. Really, Funimation is dead. Netflix has rights to some anime, obviously not all. A little bit on Prime, not too much. And there's other platforms as well, have shared bits as well. Again, it's fragmented.
Yeah.
If there was right now an anime service, legit, that was buying all these animes from Japan and put on a very good service right now, do you think people will go for it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Crunchyroll is the only one that is purely based on anime, and even sometimes they don't have everything. Do you know how crazy that is? They don't have the license for everything. And that's just, that's wild to me. It is a service problem.
Yeah.
If these companies were able to put on good services for people, there'll be no need for piracy.
Yeah.
There never was a need for piracy back in the day. There never was, because a lot of people were just using Netflix. Yeah, I'll just pay for this. Like, convenience. It's convenient. I don't need to get all these billions of pop-ups about, Sarah in my area, whatever it is.
5 minutes.
5 minutes away. We all know them.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 movies. Those stuff. Like, the adverts were going crazy. I don't need to do all that. That's too much hassle. Or even when torrenting was a thing.
Yeah.
Again, it's too much hassle because again, you'd be spending like a day
basically
to download one movie, and sometimes it might not be there might not be enough seeders as well. If there's not enough seeders, it takes even longer. You have to then be a seeder yourself, and pirating was so tough back in the day.
Yeah.
So it made things harder. It made things so much harder. That's why we moved to subscription service, to these services. But now these services are getting worse.
Yeah.
So now people are moving back to piracy. And now there's easier ways to pirate. It's no longer, I need to sit for days.
Yeah.
Internet speeds are through the roof. You can get 500 megabytes per second.
Yeah.
You can download things quick.
Yeah.
So now there is no day waiting. It's more convenience. So people turn to pirating. Right. It's just how it is. Yeah. Let's go back to the second segment. Sorry, the second trivia headline. Sony patents to shout brand names to end ads. So Sony filed for a TV where you must shout a brand name. McDonald's, let's just say. You see a brand name, you see an advert on TV, and if you do that, it ends the commercial.
Oh, what? No, that has to be fake. There's no way. I refuse to believe that's real.
It sounds ridiculous, but it's real.
What?
Yep, the patent exists, but it's just not been implemented yet. Essentially, the idea is that it's sort of a psychological trick where the act of saying the brand name on the screen sort of embeds it into your mind.
Wow.
And it's sort of playing into the sort of game that sometimes people play when they're in the ad segments. We've played it sometimes where we're like, What's the advert?
Advert.
What's the company?
Yeah, yeah.
We see a horse running, a black horse. What do you think? It's Lloyd's.
Yeah.
It's Lloyd's Bank, you know?
Mm.
Or you hear a certain jingle or thing, or you see.
Yeah.
Here's a common tell, actually. I'll give you one right now. Without even seeing a car, you could tell which brand it is from the way they do the adverts.
Yeah.
If it's Audi, you know how it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to see the brand at all. You know what car is being advertised. But anyways, they're playing into that sort of trick that we sort of do, or that sort of game that we play.
Yeah.
And that's why they made that pattern. It's ridiculous to say.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous to say, but the pattern exists.
Wow. I just hope we don't see that anytime soon. At least not in my lifetime.
But there's an argument to say that could be better.
Because I get to skip it.
I guess you get, and obviously
Yeah.
we sometimes see the same ads in the
Yeah.
same sequence all the time.
Especially
so now you
the
can just
unskippable ads.
especially the unskippable ones. So now if I could on my TV as I'm watching, just be like, yep, that's home base, and then I could just shout it out. I've just skipped all the ads, so I could just go straight to my content from there. But now it's embedded in my brain.
And you're thinking.
Now I'm
about
like,
it
oh
now.
yeah, hang on, home base.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're hijacking our brains. It's crazy. Okay, last one.
Okay.
Adobe. A new terms of service requires a scan of government ID to use Photoshop offline.
Line.
Yes. Requires ID.
Well, I know they're trying to implement the use of ID. So I feel like that would be true. Like a lot of places are trying to use ID now. So yeah. I say true.
I get where you're coming from with that, to be fair. I mean, yeah, a lot of places are trying to use ID, especially in the UK. We got to verify everything now with ID. But actually, this one's fake.
Okay.
This one is fake, so rest assured. But
Good.
Still have to have some kind of cloud ID.
Yeah, to use
look,
it,
Adobe's the worst at
Yeah.
this. We'll go into it a little bit, but yeah, Adobe's not really good for this. But yeah, I think out of all the headlines, which one was the most damning or terrifying that you
Terrified. I think probably the first one, the Steam one, not being transferable upon death. Like, yeah, it's okay, games, but just think if it was any other, company. Let's say you have this huge collection, you can't take that, you can't use that as something you can give to someone.
Yeah,
is a bit wild. It's just because it's like money, for example. If you have like a bank account and you've got tons of money in it, and now when you die you can't give anyone this money, it's just sitting there doing nothing. Yeah, just feels like a waste at that point.
It is a waste. You've got this catalog of games and it's all gone.
Yeah,
all gone.
Yeah,
wild. So yeah, we've sort of talked about software briefly before we move on to hardware. Actually, this will probably be a thumbnail for this podcast episode. The cloud. Now, we've touched on it in terms of like server space and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once this cloud, we talk about the cloud and everything. Oh, it takes up. The cloud is server space.
Yeah.
Okay, essentially. Once that server goes kaput, once that server is offline, you can't get what you need anymore from that. Another thing I've been seeing, as in been researching, is again physical storage units. NAS is the word that they're using now. Ugreen offers very expensive but alternatives to hardware, essentially, where you can upload things to this actual device that stores this data for you.
Yeah.
I saw online a girl complaining about her iPhone storage. She's paying £26 a month and she's confused about this cloud. Where is this cloud? I'm paying £25 a month and I'm using it all, and where is my data? Like, why am I losing so much? What is going on? People are paying for convenience.
Yeah.
We've said this before. People are paying for convenience. The cloud, the storage, it's something you pay for on a daily. £26 a month, by the way, for 12 months.
Crazy.
That is enough to get you a physical, actual device, storage device. Do you see people trading convenience for a storage device, for instance? Example, these cloud services can just get hacked, lose whatever. They can just end at any time.
Yeah.
You have a certain amount of time. Let's just say, when these things go to get the data back. Where are you gonna put it?
Yeah.
Do you know? Do you think in 2026 people will make the move from cloud storage to physical storage?
Yeah.
Do you see that happen?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I see it happening because with that storage thing, there's nothing scarier than losing access to storage or losing access to something that you've stored, right? And I think that fear is going to drive a lot of people to invest in other forms of storage. So, yeah, all these physical devices to store their data. Yeah, you'll see a huge surge in people using them because again, if you can safeguard your data, you don't have to rely on the cloud, because again, the cloud can go kaput. You could, you're not able to pay for it, or it gets hacked, for example. You lose all that data. Whereas, if you have a physical, hard copy of it, it's a lot harder to lose at that point. So yeah, I think we'll definitely see a switch. More people move into other forms of storage, not just cloud anymore. I think they'll probably still be there. I don't think it definitely won't get like it will always stay.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of people will use a lot of physical hardware to store stuff now.
I'm gonna go contrary to that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they will.
Oh, okay.
In this regards,
yeah.
When it comes to social media and all that stuff, I have my opinions. I think a lot of people will exit that soon for more communication, which we'll get into in our next episode, preview to that, where we talk about community and third spaces.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think people are too lazy. People are too lazy to have to sit there and transfer everything from this cloud to a physical device. What? Too much. I gotta think about things now. I have to think about the setup. Even though it's an easy setup, I'll be honest, it's plug and play. It's like, here's a server. Upload it to the server, which is your storage device. That's it. Done. People don't like that. Yeah, I'll say this because I went into her comment section of this video and I just said, look, you're better off just buying a £200, £300 storage device, right? You make she makes content. That's why she ran out of space. Number one, if you're making content, don't put it on a cloud storage device thing. Come on, let's be real here. Okay, you might be using CapCut, but don't do that. I said, which would you rather have? Paying £26 a month for 12 months, which ends up being over £260 anyway, or paying the £260 now for the more storage as a physical form that you can now actually like add stuff to, and there is you can actually have control of what actually you put in there. Whereas right now she's probably recording everything and in 4K in highest quality, filling up her storage, unnecessary stuff. She doesn't want to go through everything. And also remember, it's cloud, so what happens is sometimes because it's in the cloud, it has to download every single time you want to view it and play it. So now she can't actually see the unnecessary stuff that she has. The videos that are taking gigabytes of space, she has to wait more time to actually view these things because again, it's downloading itself from the cloud temporarily to then go back up into the cloud. Did you get my point?
Yeah.
I just don't think people want to trade that convenience for physical work. But just too lazy, man.
I get what you mean. I think that the word convenience, I think, is what a lot of people look for now. If it can be done with ease, they just do it. So okay, I get what you mean.
I don't know. At least in 2026, I don't see it happening. I do see a resurgence. A lot of people are saying, I'm getting a whole storage system unit in, and it's something I've even thought about doing myself. I'll be honest, because right now I do currently pay for Google's cloud storage. You get 2 terabytes plus Gemini. It's a good deal. Don't get me wrong. But who's to say in the future, Gemini, Google just says nope, nope. I'm gonna increase the amount you pay now. You pay £25 a month plus AI. They could do that any moment in time. And I just have to sit back and say, yes, Google, I shall do. Yes, master. Cool, I shall pay. And it's true. I pay for Spotify right now. I can't get off Spotify. There's no alternatives. Could be in the future. Who knows? Well, there is the Anna Archives. You heard about that? terabytes worth of Spotify songs.
Ooh.
Pretty much like 98%, I think it was,
Wow.
of all songs have been downloaded.
Yeah.
Obviously they've been sued hard,
Yeah,
but
I can imagine.
they're trying to release a stable version that is offline and that uses like a player essentially. So essentially it'll be an offline version of what is available on Spotify, which is like pretty much all the songs. We might be seeing that soon. Interesting. But the reason why I pay for Spotify is because there's no alternative to that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more and more to get this storage device just because, again, when that 2 terabytes I have is used, I'm going to be scrambling to find out how I can manage and what if that cloud goes? I've lost so much data, so much information of stuff that I want to remember. These are the things that give me joy when I look back on. If I want to look back on, my kids or whatever it is can see and say, "Oh, Dad, this is how you were in 2008."
Yeah.
You know,
all the old stuff.
We used to keep physical cards.
Yeah, I remember that.
Physical.
Printed off. Yeah.
We used to print them off. Now you could go to them and just be like, "Oh wow, look at this! Remember this? Wow." What if that's all gone?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You almost, it's time lost, almost like an era that just gets lost because of it.
Yeah. It's not worth it. I think we've been talking about software. Obviously, we'll go into hardware a little bit. You're a design engineer, right? You know things have a certain design to them. I think there's a war currently happening between things that are repairable and things that are just aesthetically pleasing to look at. Apple, Samsung, all of them have essentially glued their products shut. As a design engineer, I just wanted to talk about a word I've been seeing. It's the hostile design. Inside the phone. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so I guess hostile design is more about making a design choice that essentially is removing, I guess, some control or some agency from the user and instead giving that to the manufacturer. So essentially, for example, with a phone, an example we see is the glued on battery, for example, right? So that they'll say it has benefits, and it does. Like, a glued battery, there's no tolerance, or it's less, less likely things are going to go wrong with a glued in battery because there's, zero gap between the battery and the wherever it's connected to. So yes, there is benefits, but again, with a glued on battery now, when it comes to, repairing, refixing or replacing it, well, now it becomes much harder because how are you going to get rid of that battery? Well. Much more expensive. Taking that battery out, maybe if you do it with enough force, it might rip other things. It can damage other things. So that's where this hostile design comes in, because they've made a design choice that on paper has benefits for X, Y, and Z. So it makes the phone thinner, for example, but it comes at the cost of now you can't repair it, or you have to send it to a special facility where they'll do it, or you just don't bother with that and just get the next one, which companies will love. So that's where this hostile design comes in. It's removing your ability to work with what you have, work with your own, what you've purchased essentially, and kind of forcing you to, it's just not worth, making it so it's just not worth you spending that effort, spending that time to fix whatever issue it is. Instead, it's urging you to, go for the next thing.
You need to do this. Instead. And we saw it with the death of modular phones. They were on the rise. Every enthusiast knows about modular phones being a thing. LG G5 was probably a good example of that implemented. The bottom part could be taken off. And usually the battery comes with it. You can always take it off with the battery. You could always add new things to it. You can add a camera, a shutter. You can add different things. You can have a touchpad at the bottom for your finger as well. LG was ahead of the game when it came to this stuff. And I had a friend of mine that actually got the G5. So good when he was in school. Loved it. I was like, I need this phone. It was and it was a camera phone.
Yeah.
So he had the best pictures at the time. Modular phones were a thing, but obviously, look, LG's gone.
Yeah.
LG's dead. The modularity is gone. You had a phone that was fully modular. You can remove remember back in the day, you can remove the battery, you drop your phone, and everything disintegrates, like Lego style. But you replace your battery. If your battery is really bad, is really weak, whatever, you just replace it, get a new one, boom.
Yeah.
You put it in, it's finished. Now it's 100%. You don't need to pay Apple
to
hundreds of pounds to just replace your battery. You know? And even then, the design, like you say, hostile design is so bad now that even if you were to get this new battery put in, it somehow will affect the rest of the phone.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah.
It's to the point now that if you've had work done to your phone, even the resellability of it goes down. Because you've had work to it. So something has gone awry.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah. I was just thinking as well. Remember that time I was fixing some of the old phones, like the Honor, mom's old Honor phone. I fixed that. Like I was looking at how it, like the design of replacing the screen, for example, with that, versus your or our previous one, the P20, Mate. Like just replacing stuff in it is completely different between the two phones. It was so much easier in the Honor compared to the Huawei because of how they designed it. It was, I had to use a heat gun to like pry the screen, and then I had to unscrew so many different things. Like I'm taking out a lot more just to make this one replacement. Whereas the Honor, it was very easy. Well, a lot easier. It was just, I think I just disconnected the battery and then I could just pull out the screen and then I'll put it back in. It was very simple. So again, that's just another example of where the design now has made it so that you're basically, I'm taking apart the phone essentially just to replace this one, just to replace the screen. So obviously now that can cause damage. Imagine if I lose a screw or something, and even like resealing the phone after that now. Like, like the other one, I couldn't, even after I'd replaced it, I could not seal it properly just because of this. Yeah, it's annoying that, it's just designed to not be, repairer friendly.
Is waterproof even like that much of a big deal? Because I'll be honest, they did this in the name of safety. You don't want batteries exploding or whatever, or we want phones to be more waterproof, etc., etc. Is that really like that much of an issue? Do you see that as an excuse, or is that just fear mongering?
I think a lot of it is definitely fear mongering. I think, they should instead focus on making, these batteries, making it easier, or making the actual battery itself easier to replace, safer, rather than kind of fixing the whole thing essentially. So like if you think of it like a system, instead of trying to fix the problem, they're going a step above and fixing everything to solve that problem, but it's creating more issues rather than just fixing the issue, which was the battery. So I think that's a shift in where companies have put their focus. They're less focused on solving the actual issue. They more so want to solve that with another kind of solution that that somehow fixes the issue but doesn't really, if that makes sense. So making it waterproof fixes the issue because you don't need to care about improving the battery because water issues no more. But I think they need to focus on what the actual issue was. Fix those core problems with, how the phone is designed. If it's the battery, fix that specific battery. If it's, I don't know, the speaker system sometimes doesn't work, fix that specific issue. Rather than trying to, use a different solution to somewhat fix it, but you're not actually addressing the issue. Like a Band-Aid fix almost.
Yeah, it's literally a Band-Aid fix. This doesn't serve anything or do anything. It's just
Yeah.
more problems down the line,
Yeah.
to be honest. And I know we touched on it earlier with, if we did have modular phones, if this wasn't just a tech enthusiast thing, does the mass majority even care? Do they want to? I think it's a skill issue. I think it's just a case that people are just too lazy.
Yeah.
We mentioned this. They're too lazy. You think about this story. I'm thinking about it now. You think about this storage business with cloud and stuff like that. People can't be bothered with that. You think people will be bothered to actually tinker with their devices as much?
Actually, I would say it's one of those things where you need to introduce it early. So, like, for example, take with the modular phones, right? If phones have always been modular, you know, let's say every person at school had one of these phones, right? If someone had an issue with one, or they fixed something, right, they're more likely to tell their friend. If their friend has that same issue, they'll help them with that. So now the friend knows how to fix it.
Yeah.
And then they might tell someone else and they know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So essentially you get like this, like a majority of people now know how to fix that. And it no longer becomes, you know, that skill issue. It no longer becomes that check where people are like, can I be bothered to fix it? Well, no, because you have the knowledge, so of course you'll fix it yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what needed to happen. It needed to be introduced early.
Yeah.
I think introducing it so late now, because we've already got all this convenience.
Yeah.
People aren't going to engage with it. You know, why am I spending time to fix this when I could just get the next version or tell someone else to fix it for me, Apple to do it. So, yeah, I think with those, it needs to be done early.
Yeah, it needs to be adopted. Good point. Yeah, it has to be adopted early, and big tech companies just didn't. Honestly, there's phones now like foldables. We both have foldables. I'll be honest, I would not know how to tinker with this.
Same.
If anything happened to this phone, I just send it off.
I have to.
There's nothing. You had to send your phone back because you had an issue with it. You had the screen replacement. Back in the day, we could have said, "Yeah, I can just open it up, get a new screen, boom, finished." It's different. This phone actually is complex. How are you telling me a regular slab phone still cannot be fixed by a regular person?
Yeah,
without YouTube expertise, and you can't. It's wild.
Yeah,
like the foldable is very intricate. It's an intricate piece of tech that I wouldn't expect anyone to be able to fix at home for a very long time.
Yeah,
but the phone should have been able to be fixed in any capacity. Now I should be able to go on Amazon and see phone repair kit, and that should be a thing I could just buy anytime, and I can just repair my phone right now. We have the right to repair. I just feel like we need to bring that back.
Yeah,
in some capacity.
I think so. I think obviously with like stuff like Apple, they release multiple phones of like the same version, so they'll have a smaller version, a bigger, whatever, right? I think companies need to do. I think they need to do like a 2 version, a official version, the complex one, and then a standard, easy to repair version, I would call it. Yeah. So like 2 versions of the same device, but one is, they can go all out with whatever tech they want to introduce, and then the second one's a bit simpler, achieves as much of the original capacity, but it's nice and repairable. Because then now you have the 2. Helps to again reduce you're helping to reduce a lot of waste with phones. How many phones end up in landfills and all that kind of stuff. If you've got this modular, easy to repair version of the phone, and then you've also got the main version, it's almost back to like the advantage of using that clicks communicator, where you have the 2 phones, one that you can use maybe as like a daily driver, you use it everywhere, and then one for specific use. So I think that would help. And then that phone could also be given to, I don't know, children or to whatever, young ones, and then you don't have to have that risk of, I can't give them the latest best phone, because if they damage it, I'm shilling out however much just to repair it, or I'll just have to get a new one, so if they can have this easy to repair, like anyone could do it, like phone, then I feel like that'll be definitely like a huge boost. I think.
Be a huge boost. There's a case to be made as well. Like, going back to your point that you just made about the children, there's a case to be made that actually getting them these phones gets us back to the BlackBerry phases where people were just communicating.
Yeah.
That's all it was. People were very content with that. I really desperately wanted a BlackBerry when I was younger. My parents decided to get me a touchscreen phone. I was the first in the whole school to get one.
I know. You felt left out.
I hated it. I said, touchscreen? I don't need this whackness. I don't need this, bro. I want a BlackBerry. I said, I was trying to break that phone.
Yeah.
You remember that time? I was trying to break it. It was an LG Optimus. If you know, you know. I was trying to break that phone.
Tossing it everywhere.
I was tossing it everywhere. I hated that phone. Looking back, obviously, that phone was fantastic. I was able to play games on it and do all this random good stuff. And all because I just wanted the keyboard back. All because I actually wanted to actually communicate with my peers outside of school. I was too young to get Facebook, but like, I just wanted to do that outside of school. I think in a way, having it be a case that there is a device that is separate from the regular phone that you can give to kids, because we don't want kids to be on TikTok for too long. We don't want kids to be frying their brains and doing all this brain rot stuff. We need to move to more devices that can curb that now. And move it away from niche and move it away from enthusiasts. We don't want the enthusiasts to be the ones only buying these products. The masses should be advocating for this stuff. You know, there's a video that was made by Marquez Brownie about enthusiasts and how their journey. Obviously, the enthusiast tech, 1+1 was an example. Fantastic. Flagship killer, they called it. Had everything that you had in a flagship or a fraction of the price. But the problem with enthusiasts is that they're very finicky. They're very feeble. They're very picky. And they're very niche, unfortunately. And when they're too niche, what happens? OnePlus, look at them now, making flagship products. High prices and not as much the flagship tech anymore, as they've lost their glory. These kind of things like the Clicks Communicator needs to become more mainstream, I think. There needs to be more benefits to people that, aside from, hey, this is a second phone to curb your addiction. This is a second phone to curb your doom scrolling. This is more for communication. There needs to be an en masse sort of thing. How do you think they can do that? How do you think they can appeal to people, to the masses, to adopt these things?
I guess it feels like one of the things where you feel the appeal when you see someone else using it. I think the marketing really needs to focus around kind of almost like word of mouth, essentially. If you're seeing, you know, someone actively using it, like, you're more likely to, you know, want to engage with it, I guess. Well, at least for me, if I'm seeing everyone's, you know, switched over to it, then I'm switching over to it too, you know. I want to be able to communicate with everyone. So having that as the almost like the marketing, almost everyone else, it has to be like, it's almost like a community thing at that point. It has to be a lot of people using it at once. And I think, how they actually get to that point, I don't know. I think it's just how they market it at that point.
It's marketing.
Or maybe they can also do like, I don't know, trials where it's like they just hand out the phones to, you know, I don't know, lots of people, and just do like, I don't know, giveaways, tons of giveaways and all that kind of stuff to really drive, you know, engagement into it, buy-in into it. And I think that would probably help to get people to engage with it more.
Unfortunately, you need investors. And how do you sell it to investors that want to make people dumb and conform?
True.
You want the kids to be stupid in the future so that they
want them to be scrolling.
You want them to be scrolling because guess what? When they're scrolling, they're looking at adverts. They're bombarded with things that keeps their time on the app, and retention is so incredible nowadays. As an investor, you'd be like, why am I investing in this thing that's going to stop me from getting revenue in this other place? Why would I do that? So unfortunately, it needs to be so mass community driven that there's no stopping it, essentially. And I think step one is to advertise it to parents and say, parents, look, do you want your child to be like this in 5 years? The thing is, you need tangible evidence.
Yeah.
You need to be not tangible, because you can always fake evidence.
Yeah,
You know,
but like-
Apple always fakes their use cases. My life, this solves a problem that you never thought you had.
Yeah.
And people eat it up. Oh, my life, I
Mm.
guess I didn't have that problem. But now that I have this iPhone, I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. See? So you can make propositions to people, but
Yeah.
I think if you advertise it to the parents that are going to be buying these things for their kids, you know, your kid, when they're 12, you want them to just be communicating with you.
Yeah.
That's why you give them a phone
Yeah.
initially. It's always just a case of, I need to know where my kid is to make sure he's safe. I need to, and he needs to be able to communicate with me to find out where he is. And he needs to communicate with his friends when he wants to, because, you know, it's not just they see them in school and then outside of school, that's it. You know, you want that your child to also have a life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand that. So you advertise to the parents first, get them on board as much as you can, get an adults and all that stuff, push it as much as you can, and hope that the mass adopts it as that first use case of get these kids off social media, get these kids to actually use and communicate in real life, and use real technology to communicate rather than just be scrolling for hours.
Yeah. Thinking about like introducing that into schools as well. Like you could probably almost use those as like the case studies to
Definitely
see what is the impact of a school that has it versus a school that doesn't. Obviously the data will probably be quite subjective. It's maybe there's a few bits you could probably put like physically, but yeah, I think that would probably be a good point as well to look at, is how what do schools that, you know, completely using just this device, what do they look like? You know, are the children actually talking to each other more? Are they, or is it just the same? So I think that'll be a good almost like a good case study.
Ooh, now that you said that, that's actually a good idea. Push it so that schools actively say no outside phone usage, no phone usage that is like touchscreen, all that stuff, but we 100% allow you to be using a Klitz communicator, for example. We are 100% allow you to, obviously, if you can have some restrictions, have some like a network maybe, so every time every student goes past a certain point in the school, automatically certain things on their phone aren't functional in terms of like things are monitored, like chats make sure they're monitored between people in the school, students in school, so there's no bullying, using obviously artificial intelligence to find out what's actually happening, if there's anything like that, to monitor people, but not too much monitoring, because obviously there needs to be some privacy. But if that was a thing, then they were to do that as an experiment, and that just, instead of the no phone usage, it's allowed phone usage, encourage phone usage, but with a purpose. I actually do think there'll be a lot more on board. Students will be actually on board a lot more if they see the benefits of that in the school. And like you say, having that as an experiment would be fantastic to do, honestly.
Absolutely.
I think I want to sort of go to conclude. We've talked a lot about a lot of things. One thing I wanted to just briefly talk about is LAN parties. They're coming back, right?
Yeah.
Right now, as it stands, a lot of things are done online, over the internet. And in the UK, I'll be honest, we don't have the infrastructure for good connections, essentially. Connection, internet. Long story with Huawei and our 5G bans, and our UK government doesn't want to, well, they basically banned them. So all the engineers fled, and essentially we don't have anyone maintaining our 5G network anymore. There's a 5G network close by here. It used to be great. Now I'm getting 3 bars on 5G. 5G is still strong, but it's so bad. It's not as good as it used to be. I used to be getting like 300, 400 megabytes per second. It's beautiful. But yeah, things have changed in that sense. So people are now turning to LAN parties now, where if you don't know what LAN parties are, essentially you would have everyone bringing their PCs, their laptops all into one area. And again, it encourages that source of sense of community and friendship and closeness, because you're not just online anymore. Say, hey, bro, jump on the game. You're actually like physically going in person now. You can actually see people's reaction. What are your thoughts on, you know, lugging these heavy PCs around again? Is the lag online bad, or is the trade off?
I guess. Oh, I don't know. Lag. Yeah, it's always going to be there. But I think that sense of you know, community, that sense of you're there with people, right? It's like thinking back to, you know, those, you've probably seen like photos of when Minecraft was big, people would, you know, sat at a table, there'll be like 6 people connected, all that kind of stuff. Or there'll be other games where, you know, they'll all play connected. And I think that is something a lot of people appreciate. It's why, like in esports, they'll have tournaments but in person, because there's a different feeling to a tournament than just, you know, watching it.
Yeah.
You know, if you've seen it online, yeah, it's cool and all, but you know, you don't get that same like feeling that you get, experience, yeah, that you get when you're there in person. You know, it feels different. So I think that seeing the switch to more LAN stuff, more people, you know, being together physically, just yeah, I think a lot of people appreciate that a lot more. Yes, I guess the obviously downside is not everyone can, you know, be part of it. You know, if you're having like tournaments, for example, you kind of have to travel, you know, all that kind of. So yeah, there's negatives, I guess, with the travel, but if you can get one, it's almost like it's a no-brainer at that point. It's mostly only positives.
Mostly only positives, and you see that as well, not just in esports, or I see it as well in cinema.
Yeah.
For a long time, we were stuck at home with COVID and whatnot, but there's a reason why myself and Josh, we pay £15 a month for a limitless pass.
Yeah.
The cinema isn't just it's not just watching something.
Yeah.
You know, you're actually experiencing what the movie's meant to be. You're experiencing in person. And if you go with a group, you talk about the movie afterwards or something like that. You know, it's an experience thing. And I think moving away from things being online to be more in person, doing things together as a community, is something that we are probably going to be seeing a lot more.
Yeah.
In the year. I think people are losing the sense of community, it's a loneliness epidemic. They're trying to get more things, more activities together with people over time. And I think if we go back to physical media, making that resurgence, bringing that back in, finals, people can actually go and start trading things now and owning things. And hey, I've got this, come use this. Physical earphones as well. You probably wouldn't share them, but just physical media can be shared now. Yes, it might get more expensive. Think about it, because you know, if companies are seeing the resurgence of them, they're gonna be like, "Wow, I guess I'll keep charging extra." Fantastic, more people are trying to buy, huh? Exactly, I'll charge more. I had an example, but it's gone here. Physical media actually being very expensive now compared to what it used to be. Nokia bricks. They're so novelty now that they're very expensive. There's certain things that are so novelty now and so rare. Yeah. Again, I mean, that's just standard. I think that's just how things always work. But yeah, it's going to be expensive, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. If you're someone that cares about community, cares about what you pay, cares about money, I'll be honest, really, cares about saving money too. We talk about how we can't afford houses anymore or buying houses. If you're not spending £26 a month, £30, 40 something pounds a month on subscriptions for this or that, you're spending that, you're saving that to then help you to get that house in the future. I looked through my expenses for the month and how much I spend, and for subscriptions alone, there's a lot of important subscriptions I pay for. It's coming up to about something like £200.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Adds up.
And I was looking through what I actually care about and need, and there was a few that I was just like, yeah, just cancel that. £15 here, £12 here, subscription I haven't used in a while. Yeah, cut that out. And I think that's something I want to tell our viewers to just do as an exercise, to just look through all of the subscriptions that you actually currently pay for. Well, the start of the year, it's only January, so it's a good time to start now, actually. Look through what you actually spend and pay for on a monthly basis. See what you can actually cut out. See what alternatives you can actually find. If investing in this NAS, this hard drive is the go-to move, especially now as AI is making them more and more expensive.
Yeah.
Get in now, it's like gold. Is if investing in all these things is the thing that you need to do it, because it saves you in the long run. £250 spent on a NAS over £300 spent on the same thing for the 1 year, and then you gotta pay it again for the next year, and then the next year, and then at that point you might as well just get I don't know, 5 different packs or storage devices. I think for our viewers, yes, we do encourage you to look through your subscriptions, what you're doing, and really just find alternatives. There's so many alternatives out there to these things. If you want to go the legal route, there's definitely ways of doing it. 100%. You can own things with a Plex server, a Plex media server. You can 100% do that and buy things digitally that you own and actually store in person. So I think that's just something I wanted to summarize what we've sort of talked about. Now, next week, we're going to talk about community. We touched on community. We talk about how people are trying to find that community. A phrase that's been popping up is third spaces. Now, the concept of a third space is your home is the first space, your work is the second space,
or school.
But the third space, what can that be? Usually in the UK, typically is the pub. Yeah. Come on, we're just going for the pub on a Friday, with the lads. Yeah, that's the third space. It's a community space. Yes, you're drinking, cool, but you're doing things as a community. You're doing things with a friend. You're doing things with people that share the same interest as you. There might be a football game on at this third space. That's an interest. And the space facilitates that.
Yeah.
But can that third space does that have to be physically in person? I do feel like these kind of spaces, again, we've mentioned the pub. Pubs are dying. Like, it's true. Pubs are really just... there was a place I went to in Leeds, and just a whole stretch of the area, there was just pubs and lots of like places that people go to, all gone, all shut down. Libraries are a third space.
Yeah.
Because people who like to read books have a common area they can meet up and find where all books are, essentially. Yeah. But again, libraries are also dying as well. So a lot of third spaces are dying. So what can be the replacement for them? Are we all just lonely? And I think on the next episode we'll sort of touch on this, how we're losing that community, but we're trying to find alternatives to that. And I think by the end of it, we'll try and see how we can start our own community. Is it through Discord? Can it be online? Can third spaces, we'll discuss this. Can third spaces be online? Are we building a third space of our own as well? So yeah, I think if I was to sort of ask you at the end of this episode, Josh, if you were to choose between these two things, unlimited free streaming forever, but you own nothing, or you only get to own 50 albums or movies, but they are yours forever, what are you picking?
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a very hard one. Unlimited free streaming forever, but you own nothing, or 50 albums that you love, 50 movies that you love, but they're yours forever.
I think the 50. I think I'll take the 50.
You take the 50?
Because, not only do I physically own it, but I feel like it almost feels like it gets its worth, essentially. These things are, the things that mean the most to me. So as I could almost feels like I can use it almost as like a legacy piece. So, future generations, they're like, oh, okay, these things defined Josh. These things are what Josh liked and, spent time using or watching. So I think I'll take the 50 rather than the unlimited.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think I'll take the 50 as well. I think, like you say, they have value, they have meaning. In 50 years' time, those are antique pieces now. Yeah. I could actually sell them for money. I could if I wanted to. The free unlimited, I don't own anything. I just consume. I just consume and consume. Consume product and wait for next product.
That's it.
It's a meme, but it's true. Whereas now I've got something tangible to hold to my name. Theo likes this movie. How do you know? Well, he owns it. That's his. You know, if Theo loves this album, how do you know? Oh, well, he owns it. That is his personality. That's who he is. That is tied to him. Like you say, legacy pieces.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd also say that. And I want to throw the question back to our audience as well. What would you pick? Free unlimited streaming service forever, but you own nothing? Again, these streaming services could go down as well. But I didn't say it just means they're free forever.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they will stay
available.
forever. Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Again, you own nothing. 50 albums, 50 movies, yours forever. Which one are you picking? So yeah, thanks you for listening to this episode. We covered a lot for about 2 hours and a bit, to be honest. Wow. Time flew. Time really did fly. Yeah, no, long. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, same.
Lots of things we've discussed in this that I just really feel passionate about. But yeah, next episode, Third Spaces, community. We're gonna try and get some more anecdotes, some more quotes from people, real life people. We'll do a little bit of research, get some people that we're close to give some feedback, and maybe some audio clips as well of what they say. I feel like it's not just tech we talk about. I think as well, pop culture and people is also something we need to talk about too. And I think it's very important to do so. It's not just all doom and gloom. You know, there's always that good side of things, and community is part of that. So yeah, start looking after your local coffee shop. It's my send off, and we will see you next week.